Today, I found an easy money trade on NVDA, and in this video, I'm going to go over the process I used to find and capitalize on opportunities like this. So overall, the market's a bit extended from the moving averages, and many of the large cap leaders are stuck consolidating. However, NVIDIA was gapping up 2% and was breaking out of the daily range. NVIDIA was already strong and a leading stock off the lows from July 29th. It has a great narrative being a chip provider for the AI build-out. Last night during SpaceX's earnings call, it was announced that SpaceX plans to exclusively use NVIDIA's chips. This news doesn't change the narrative of NVIDIA, but however confirms it. Though NVIDIA was still on watch for me this morning. Coming into the open, the things I pay attention to the most is price action and catalyst, and you can see that NVIDIA is gapping up above the daily range and is also flagging out pre-market and is trying to break out right before the open. This is what I like to see in a gap and go setup. For me, I'm watching it break out over the pre-market high, and if price goes below 215, I'm no longer really interested and the trade would be invalidated. Going to the open, NVIDIA is my top watch. My trade plan going into the open was to play the gap and go, and this was to buy when price breaks out of the pre-market range. So when price broke outside broke the 217.66 level. So 14 seconds into the market open, as NVIDIA broke out of the pre-market range, I entered into 0DTE NVIDIA 220 calls. I decided to do options here because they are my preferred way to structure trades like this. Price quickly goes up about $1.90 after it breaks pre-market high, and my position is up over about 85%. I wanted to see how price would react at the 220 level, so I held my position through this 1 minute flag. I did not end up holding my position all the way through the next leg up. I ended up closing my position at the new high of day when it was breaking out around here for about a 76% gain on the position. I left about a whole dollar of the contracts on the table. And I think the main reason for this was that I was in the drawdown from here to here kind of got to me. So after closing this first trade, I was not done trading for the day. I still recognized that there was an opportunity on NVIDIA, and my plan was to pay attention to NVIDIA's price action around the 220 level. NVIDIA was very strong today, and it was likely to continue going higher and make a new high of day. At 9:48, I decided to build up a position to try to get to make a new high of day. However, I was stopped out at 9:50. Waste some time. Again, at 9:52, I reattempted, but then I quickly got stopped out again at around 9:54. These paper cuts hurt my P&L for the day. However, they never caused me to go on tilt or to lose the good mindset for trading, because I knew the risk of these trades before I entered, and I already accepted the loss if it were to occur. This flag still kept forming out on NVIDIA around the 220 level, and as price was getting tighter in consolidation, price action was tightening up, I was able to get in at 9:57. My plan was to see how price reacts to high of day and decide what to do from there. If I was going to take off a lot of risk, close the position, and then other way, if the trade goes against me, I was risking the low of this flag right here. That was my stop loss. So yeah, price goes in my favor, and I was watching very closely how price reacted at the high day level, and I was looking at how the premiums were also reacting to when price was testing a breakout of high of day. After watching, I decided to go and close the full position, locking in a 86% gain. However, the paper cuts from the two attempts before that cut into that profit was significant, so I made a small amount on that. What could I have done better in my trading today? So firstly, given the catalyst and the price action coming into the open, my first trade, the gap and go, deserved more risk. I was undersized due to me wanting to be comfortable in the trade. And that is a big issue I have, and it's a huge cause of edge bleed when you don't give the proper risk to the setup, the opportunity given. Another thing is when I take 0DTEs, I want to be taking risk off quickly and fast, because most of the money is made on the initial explosive drive up in price. You can always add back risk later on into the trade when you see the chart setting up again. The third thing I want to improve on is my selectivity of my entries, and this is going and referring to my attempts at trying to get into like the consolidation and flag break around the 220. And here I wasn't being selective with my entries, and I was chasing the pops, and I was getting terrible entries, and that was basically causing me to risk a lot more on the trade than I wanted on these attempts, and I was like chasing. So is I would say due to like more like a FOMO, so I have to be more selective and be precise before I want to enter. Overall, I'm extremely motivated to continue to improve as a trader, and I'm excited to show you guys my future trades.